What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know, I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Let me entertain you. Are you not entertained? Make your next thing a big one. Today on the program, Jacob Johnston. Who's Jacob Johnston? Well, if you've been listening to the What Makes You Famous podcast, you know back in April, we talked before a little bit about him, and we're going to talk again a little bit more about him, about what's going on these days. So stick around for that. This week's shows, as I'm recording this, let's see. Friday night, the RAB, which has been closed for a few weeks due to a couple of people getting COVID-19, is opening back up. They've freshened the place up. They've cleaned it all up. They've thoroughly disinfected, given it a bleach bath, if you will, soaked it in ultraviolet. Now, I don't know exactly what they did, but it's all fixed up and it's all ready to go. And we're going to keep doing our precautionary measures and wearing masks as we go into the RAB on Friday night for the video dance party, karaoke jam, full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. I don't know if they're going to have the pool tournament, but it's going to be from 7:30 to 10:30 is when the karaoke is going to be there. I think they're going to be open at least till 11. I think that's a new mandate, is COVID doesn't come out until after 11 o'clock. Yeah, while everybody's asleep, COVID is running around. So that's the mandate. Who knows, man? I'm just listening to scientists, and hopefully they're getting it right. I'm sure they're getting it right. They're much smarter than I am. So the RAB will be open this Friday night from 7:30 to 10:30 for the karaoke jam, and maybe a little bit longer. I think they're doing, I thought that was 4 to 11, maybe. The place will be open, so if you want to get your drinky drinks after work, after working a long, hard week, get over to the RAB and have a good time. Yeah, let's have some fun. All right, so yeah, I say video dance party. You can dance in your chairs, okay? Wear the mask while you're walking in. Use lots of hand sanitizer. We don't want to get in trouble with the authorities that are making sure that we do everything in line the right way. Am I showing my political leanings here? It's a virus. It's not political, really. You know, the scientists say wear a mask. Fine. We'll do it. Use the hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. You should have been washing your hands anyway. All right. Enough about that. I'm happy that the RAB is finally opening back up. It's been about 3 weeks that I haven't been over there doing the karaoke show, and I'm stoked to see all the people at the RAB. Yeah, I'm sure capacity will be limited as well. I think they can hold 100 people in there comfortably without people being elbow to elbow. So yeah, come on out. If you're in the Conway, Arkansas area, come on out to the RAB Friday night and see me. Come see me. All right, let's get into it with Jacob Johnston. He's got a new project, so I got him on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version. It's on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. And or just look up KeysDAN on YouTube. I know I have 3 YouTube channels, and you'll see the one with the Radio What logo. That's the one I save for my podcasts and stuff. All right, let's get into it with Jacob Johnston. Skyping Jacob Johnston now.
There we go.
There he is.
There I am.
Jacob Johnston in the house, man.
Sir.
What's going on? How's your day?
I mean, I haven't done much of anything.
Okay.
You got to remember, Dan, it's 10 a.m.
Oh, that's right. Saturday morning. Why are we up on this ungodly hour doing a podcast? I don't know. You tell me, Jacob Johnston. We talked back in, April, and something has been happening since then. I guess we'll do the update, and then we'll kind of figure out what's going on from here. Jacob Johnston, what's going on with you?
Man, I'm just busy with my new band. We just released our first track. Promoting that. I've been doing a little bit of music production on the side. But yeah, I mean, just staying busy.
Well, don't be so
hard.
elusive, man. You got to tell people what the name of the band is, what the band has been doing, how long you've been practicing, how long you've been together. There's many questions that the people need to know about, man.
Well, you can ask me any question you want. I'm an open book. But yeah, we're called Riverview. We're based out of Little Rock ish. We're all around the Little Rock area. We started, I don't know, 2 years ago, probably. Our drummer was in a band called Slick Grip, who was like a local, like pop punk rock. I don't even know what you want to call, whatever you want to call him. And I hit him up because I was like, I just kind of wanted to like make some music on the side, just do something cool. And, I hit him up and he was like, I'm too busy. That band was doing really well at the time. They were getting some traction. They played like it was huge, whatever the show was. It was at the Metroplex. I'm sure you know where that is.
Yeah, but my listeners don't, man. They're all over the world. You got to give people geographic locations for the walking tour, for when they do the What Makes You Famous walking tour and they start to follow Jacob Johnson around. Oh, that's where it's at. Check it out.
Well, Little Rock's our big city, and they have this venue. I don't even know exactly where it is. I've only been there like once, but it's very big.
Is it part of Clear Channel? Is that part of the radio station was on there?
Yes. It's part of like 100.3 The Edge. They which is like the local radio station here, like rock station. Pretty sure they're like partnered together. Like the radio station owns it or whatever. But it's a very, very large venue, and they played a show with Bad Flower and We Came as Romans, who were very big, who were like Bad Flower was coming up. They're a rock band. They've made a pretty big move, getting very big. But at the time they were on the up. And then We Came as Romans, who is a huge band. They opened for both of those at the Metroplex, and it was like, I mean, I remember our drummer was telling us a story, and he was like, yeah, I remember walking on stage, and everybody started cheering, and he was like, I about shit my pants. Just because, there were so many people there. But anyway.
Well, I'm a much older man than you, Jacob Johnson, so you're turning me on to a lot of new bands, man. I got to go fish these things out, find them on Spotify, find them on Apple iTunes, and start to get their music downloaded and put into my own music interface so I can get turned on to some of these bands, man. So you're saying these are punk bands? I know a lot of kids don't like to put themselves in boxes, but you say punk rock bands maybe kind of count?
Bad Flower is kind of like their own thing. They're just kind of like a rock band. Like, I don't even know how to describe them. They just kind of do whatever the hell they want to. Like, they're one of those bands. But they're very good. Like, that's what Bad Flower is, just a rock band, I would say. Like, just kind of a good old like modern hard rock band.
A lot of guitar riffs, a lot of drum solos. What are we talking here?
I hate to do this to you, but you're just gonna have to go listen because like they're just one of those bands that they just create, and that's what happens.
All right, well, enough about them. Let's talk about Riverview. How is that? Is it guitar driven? Is it drum driven? Is there a big bass line? I mean, how would you describe Riverview's genre if you could? And I say genre because all right, back when music first started getting played on the radio, Hank Williams' time and Al Jolson and those guys back in the 20s and 30s and stuff, it wasn't pop music, it wasn't rock music, it was music. Hey, we're putting music on the radio, big band music. There was no genres. It was only till pretty recently that people started putting stuff in a box. It's rock and roll, it's rhythm and blues, it's jazz, it's it's punk. But
Yes.
and now I think it's steering back to the old ways where people don't want to be limited by genres, and that's a good thing about being an independent. You don't have any record companies, any labels telling you, hey, you got to play this. No, you play what you want. So tell me about Riverview. How is it forming, and what kind of music is it playing?
So as far as like how is it, it took a long time to materialize. The first 3 songs I think that we're going to release, because I think we're right now. I think you have. It's like I would say that we're pop punk.
Okay.
Like in a general sense, rock. Rock would be kind of our big umbrella term, and then pop punk within that. If anybody here knows, I don't know if you know them, Dan, because I just turned you on to more bands. But if you know who like Knuckle Puck is, Story So Far.
Well, I only just looked at your Facebook feed, and Knuckle Puck is right down there, just a little bit going down the Facebook. I think somebody shared a thing about Knuckle Puck. I didn't get to listen to it, but I look forward to it. But when I think of punk of the late '70s, the early '80s. I guess all through the '70s, where it was just a bunch of guys that really didn't know how to play that well, but they started beating on their instruments and just yelling out whatever thought was in their heads or whatever they were feeling. And that's what punk is to me. It's just you got to get that rage out. On the broader stroke, I guess there are some punk bands that have a deeper meaning, a deeper message, but for the most part, in my humble opinion, punk is grabbing an instrument, banging on it, any way you can, and screaming to the man, to the industry, what's going wrong, what's going down. But you tell me, what do you think, Jacob Johnston?
I mean, for us, like being a punk band, if you will, I think ours is more about like internal struggle rather than like social struggle or political struggle. That punk is generally like, if you go way back, like Ramones or Agonistic Front, Bad Religion, all that, like a lot of it is, or Dead Kennedys, for example, like that's the perfect punk band in my opinion. The Dead Kennedys, I don't know that you can find a song by the Dead Kennedys that isn't politically driven.
Oh yeah, dig them.
But for like us, I think like at least within our genre, it's very we've moved towards more of like the emotional. So it's like we're very. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's less about the external struggles and more about internal. So like this song that we put out called Knuckles, it's about, at least lyrically, it's about kind of like why am I here? Like kind of an existential, like I don't know what I'm doing with my life and like I can't figure it out. Like that's kind of what the song's about, is like kind of trying to find your path in the world.
So Jacob Johnston, why are we here?
Man, that's not my place to answer. That's a hard question.
We got time, man. We got time. It's an existential question. Go ahead, give it to us. No, Jacob Johnston, first of all, I know that you know how to play guitar, so it's not like you're picking up an instrument and just banging on it any way you can. You've actually studied your craft, if you will. You can play the instrument. Now, how many pieces are in Riverview?
We're a 5-piece.
Okay. What are the 5 pieces, and who are they?
So the 5-piece, we have our drummer Tyler. We have me on guitar. I play the rhythm guitar. I'm kind of the supporting guitar. We have our lead guitar player Brady. He plays all the crazy stuff because he's a lot better than I am. And then we have our bass player, Jeff, and our singer is Garrett. You know, and we and one thing about that, you know, being a 5-piece is that we all come from different backgrounds. Like me and Brady, we came from a background of like 80s metal. So Metallica, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, you know, the classic rock stuff, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, etc., stuff like that. Whereas Tyler, our drummer, came from, and I think our bass player Jeff too came from a lot of the same stuff as Tyler. Is they came from like it's called scene. You know, like there was just like kind of We Came as Romans was within that. You know, we had like who else was in that? Under Oath, Asking Alexandria, like that kind of thing. And then our guy Garrett came from a lot of like kind of the same thing, but he also came from a lot of rap stuff. And so like we're all so different, but yet we come together to make something that's cohesive. So I think that's really cool that we're able to do that. Because sometimes, you know, having 5 entirely different people trying to come together to make something is, you know, it can be hard. But, you know, as a group, we've become very cohesive, and we can write stuff that's, you know, it's not like all over the place. Like it's Riverview. It's not 5 different pieces that were slammed together.
Well, I mean, there's 2 schools of thought on that. It could add a little extra flavor if all of your different styles come into the writing. And who does the writing? You know, and I'll let you talk in a second. You know, I want you to answer that question. Who does the writing? And do you all have input into the music once a song gets written? Do you bring that rhythm guitar and say, "Oh, let's try this kind of a you know, a rhythm line, and the bass guitar, a bass line, and drums and solos"? But who's writing the music and who's putting this all together?
You know, and to answer that, we have to kind of go back to the formative years of the band. Mm-hmm. You know, for the first, I'd say, solid year, we couldn't keep a steady lineup. It was more or less me and the drummer, Tyler, because people had to step away for, you know, personal reasons, etc. And so it was just me and Tyler for, I'd say, at least a year, year and a half. So within that time frame, it was just me and him bouncing ideas off of each other. Ooh, I just dropped something. But it was just me and him bouncing ideas off of each other. Like we were sitting in his apartment, and he was on his kit, and I had a guitar and an amp, and you know, like I had, like, for Knuckles, I brought that riff, and he just like said, just keep playing it over and over and over. And he would sit there and hit the drums until we got something that he liked, that we both liked. And that's kind of how we did it for the first like year and a half. Like it was just me and him. So I was writing bass and guitar and lead guitar, and we didn't like even write vocals for like a year. It wasn't until about I would say at least a year and a half later, we found our singer Garrett, who just kind of came in, and he dropped a melody and lyrics on top of the song, and we were like, "Oh man, we got it! Let's do it!" But that's just kind of, you know, and I think since then we've gotten more collaborative. Which, you know, right now with the pandemic going on, that if you don't know that that's going on, you probably live under a rock. But
well, this could be a time capsule for people that are listening 20 years from now and say, "Oh, you know, if this is the only historical artifact or remnants that gets saved after the apocalypse happens, you know, tell the people, well, what's the pandemic?"
So right now we have been in. How long has it been? Since what, like March or April?
Yeah. It feels like forever, man. Every day is another week. Every week is another month, and every month is another year. So yeah.
But yeah, right now we've been in lockdown, so to speak, for 9 months. and I use that loosely, we were in lockdown for a solid like 2 months. But stuff hasn't been normal because we have coronavirus 2019, COVID-19, if you will, rolling through the world.
Right.
And so everybody's kind of been stuck at home for the last 9 months.
Well, that affects.
But good news.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good news is apparently the vaccine, we have found it.
Hey.
And so
several, in
the
fact.
hope is that plays out well, and we can be going back to normal fairly soon.
All right. Well, enough about that. So, Riverview, are you living by yourself? And let me go back. I know you were talking about you were practicing in an apartment, banging on drums and guitar. How did the neighbors take to that?
So Tyler, our drummer, bought drum mutes. Basically, you put pads on the heads of the drums, like where you hit it, so it's like muffled, right? But it was still very loud. Yeah, we got in trouble a couple times from like the administration over there.
Yeah, I imagine so. I'm in an apartment and I can hear the kid running up and down the hall upstairs. So yeah, I imagine a drum kit and a guitar is off-putting to some people.
With that though, like
yeah,
the one room that we used, thank God it was so like the one room that we practiced in, he had it was a stairwell. There was nobody under him. And so like at least that helped a lot. Because nobody was directly below us, and there was no neighbors next door. So like on that wall that was between the apartment and the bedroom that we were practicing in. So that helped a lot. But we still did get in trouble a little bit. But
all right. Well, you were conscious of people around you and respectful of others, which is it's a good thing. You're a good boy. You're good boys. You try to limit your sound, but if you're playing good music, well, and that could be subjective as well. But if you're playing music that people like around you, they're not going to complain so much. They might start up a barbecue. A party might happen because you were playing your music. Getting five guys together, going back to Riverview, getting five guys together, you're right. It is difficult. At least you are all in the same proximity. I've talked to bands that don't even live in the same country. They're doing music online where somebody will provide the bass and send it over to a producer, and the drum and send it over producer, and so on and so on. And then a producer in maybe even a totally different country, in a totally different area, will mix all the music down. But then how do they play live if they're not living close together? Some of these people have never even met. But I'm glad that at least you guys have met and you've played together. So 2 years ago, Riverview is coming to fruition. How long are you practicing before you get out and play in front of anybody? And have you played in front of anybody as Riverview?
No, we haven't played in front of anybody. Besides like Tyler's girlfriend at the time, or something like that. No, we haven't played in front of anybody, and now we definitely can't play in front of anybody. But yeah, for the first year and a half, we were just like, we didn't even have a steady lineup for a year and a half probably. And so we were just, it was just, we were writing. We were like, you know what, let's just get as much music as we can so that when we find members, we can have material to roll out to a producer and, put out to the world. And this was before, the coronavirus pandemic. And so, to us, it was like, if we can have the material, then, we can put it out in the world. And which this song that you heard, that you've listened to, that the people at home may have not listened to, which they should, it was supposed to be, we were supposed to go to the studio in March or April. I don't remember, one of the two, but obviously that didn't happen. And so it took until October. And the story of our band, if anybody wants to know, in short, it's
in long. We got time, man. That's the miracle of podcasts. We could talk a long time.
But I'm just saying, like if we had a catchphrase as a band, it would be delay after delay after delay. Just everything got delayed all the time. Just, we couldn't find members for a year and a half. And then we're ready for the studio. And then the coronavirus happened. And then, so that's just, it's, I think, I do think the coronavirus was good for us though, because, with you not being able to play shows, it's, it's not like we're getting ready to go on tour or anything. So we can take our time, put out the best music we can think of that we can create and get kind of a following. And so when we play shows, we'll see, hopefully a lot of people there, but we'll at least have a few faces that have followed us for a little while. So I think that's a really neat part of kind of the climate we live in right now.
Well, you'd be surprised at how many creatives have learned how to create, stretch their creative juices during this coronavirus. Because I know for me, the first couple of months, I lost all my DJ gigs. I didn't get to go out and play in front of people like I was used to, and it was sad for me. Besides losing the money portion of it, which was very sad for my family because I have responsibilities, but losing the ability to go in front of other people and show off the things that I've learned to do, like when you're a kid, and you want to impress your mom and dad, look what I can do. And you jump up and down and it really wasn't that impressive, but hey, you still want to have an audience dig me. But, for a band, you're coming up with an idea, making a song, birthing this child that you call music, and you want to play it in front of other people and say, look what I made here. Please love me, or right. How do you feel about it?
About what?
How did it affect you? Yes, you can't play in front of people, but you said that you went to a studio. Is it a studio right. in-house, or is it a studio that somebody actually put a shingle up and said, hey, my studio, where are you going to record your music?
So the recording process was actually kind of weird. The only thing we did in studio was the drums, which was like a real deal studio.
Oh,
thanks for the follow, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it was a real deal studio, like sound treated, everything. It was the real deal. He converted an old house into like a really nice studio. Mm-hmm. His name's Bert Lager. I don't even remember exactly what the studio's called at this very second.
I love shout outs, man. I love giving credit where credit is due. You got to know those names.
He's so good. His name's Bert Lager.
Okay.
Anyway, he's in downtown Little Rock off of Broadway, right off the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was super laid back, super good at what he did. And thank God he was patient, because we made some errors in some of the tracks didn't export right. Mm-hmm. And so we had to kind of make do with what we had. So, that's where we recorded drums, and the rest of it, like, I don't know if you know what this means. DI. Do you know what DI means?
Nope.
In recording?
Tell the people.
So basically, DI is where you have your interface, which is like where you plug in your microphones or whatever, that plugs into your computer that then runs into whatever recording software you're using. So DI is where you plug your guitar. Like, basically you just take a guitar cord and plug it into the interface. So you record guitar straight to the, like, whatever track you're recording on. And so that's how we recorded everything. Was we just had our guitar player Brady, he recorded his part. Jeff, our bass player, recorded his part. I recorded my part, And then Garrett came over to my house, and I made a little makeshift vocal booth in my closet. And we recorded it there. Sent it all to our producer, Nathan Cluse at Cluse Audio. That's a shout out I want to give because he's incredible.
Yeah.
You can find him on Facebook, Cluse Audio, CLOOS.
Okay.
He's incredible, very, very talented at what he does. And he mixed and like all the guitar tones were from him and bass tones. And I mean, he just did more than we could have ever asked for. And very, very quick too, which is incredible for the quality of the work. And that's how we just basically like, he sent us the first mix of the song. We listened to it. He said, "Hey, I don't really like how that sounds." I said, "Okay." Went back next day, fixed it, sent it back. We're like, there's something still weird about it. Can we fix this and this? Sent it back. You know, we went back and forth probably 3 or 4 times. And then we were like, "Yep, that sounds about right." And then he sent it to his mastering guy, who I don't even know who the name of the guy is. Ooh, almost fell over. But the mastering guy is incredible. He's like a big name. He does like a lot of like top 40 hit stuff.
A big name like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, like a really big name.
Killing me, Dan. You're killing me.
Hey, hey. Speaking of killing me, you have the squeakiest chair in the world. So for those listeners, the little squeak is every time Jacob Johnston moves around in his chair. He's got a squeaky chair. These are little nuances that people enjoy, and him falling out of the chair. If you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version so you could see his pretty face right there next to me.
I almost fell down. That was almost bad.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that would be the end of Riverview. But you know, we're just in the fledgling. This is just the birthing of a band. Really, you're in the initial stages of putting this thing together, and you've got 3 songs and the downfalls of not being able to record together in the same room with a producer. You're giving people those walls that you had to knock down to play, where you have to go back and forth. As opposed to if all 5 of you were in a recording studio with a producer, maybe a 6th or 7th person, putting all your music together. But no, you had to record all your parts separately and send them to this guy, this magician that put everything together. Yeah.
Very good. It's very good.
How difficult do you think that is? It's got to be incredibly difficult. But you know, you can only speak to what you were using yourself. What did you set up in your closet to make a recording booth? Because I know a lot of people have been doing, you know, even podcasts in their closet and voiceovers. They set up a closet because it's a nice closed-in area, and they can put up, you know, maybe some carpet on the walls to deaden the sound and stop, you know, the bounce. But what kind of equipment did you put in your closet?
That's actually the closet right there.
Okay.
Right behind me.
It's not even a walk-in closet. It's one of those sliding door closets that you had to climb into. Right. Yeah. So, you know, what kind of equipment's in there?
Yeah. So I just, it's not in there now. I took it down, but, cause we're not going to be recording for a little bit anyway. So I basically just took some like thick, like quilt blankets, kind of like thicker blankets, and just, put it on, like basically made like padding along the wall, by using a nail, which I probably shouldn't have, but oh well.
That's going to lose your deposit.
Yeah, there goes the deposit. It's okay. I have a dog, so it's not like my deposit's going to be here anyway. But yeah, so I just put up like quilts along the wall to like kind of keep it from reverberating back to us. And then on the ceiling, I used egg cartons, believe it or not, because they're whatever material, like the foam that they're made of, is really good for canceling out echo. So yeah, I just put egg cartons on the ceiling and quilts along the wall, and left all the clothes in there. And we just, he recorded in between, like about the halfway point of the clothes, so that it, like a lot of the sound is caught. and it turned out fine. So, and it saved us a lot of money. So, can't complain.
Yeah, you're talking about egg cartons. My Uncle Ricky was in a band called Crier. I think their biggest claim to fame was that they opened up for Motley Crue way back when, in Europe. But he had egg cartons in his practice room at my grandmother's house, yeah, that was a thing. It was actual egg cartons up on the ceiling, and you'd be surprised at how well they catch the sound. But you've explained the sound deadening quality. But what kind of equipment was it? Do you remember what kind of microphone and what kind of mixers you were using? And was it in your computer? Was it what kind of equipment?
I'm trying to see. I don't have my interface in here, but the interface I was using that you plug your microphone into is it's called the Scarlett i8. It's 4 channels, so you could plug 4 microphones into it and record them all at the same time. And then actually, right here is the microphone I was using. It's Shure SM58.
That's a 57, isn't it?
57. Sorry, I'm stupid.
No,
that is a 57.
Hey, man, I know that microphone, best microphone in the world, and really, that's the best one. For most people use that for instruments. The SM58 would be the best microphone for vocals, and I'm not sure why. I've looked at the specs. I don't understand the specs, but I know it's the greatest mic in the world. Arguably. I mean, I know the SM7B is the next mic that I want to get. I'm using this pod mic, and it sounds pretty good. It catches my voice pretty well, but I want to use that SM7B because, hey, Michael Jackson used it. It's good enough for him. It's good enough for me. And a lot of other people think the same thing.
That's kind of the studio standard, though, for vocals is the 7B. The SM7B it just has the best response, I think, and captures all the detail. But, I mean, I would have used an AKG P420, which is a condenser microphone, which is typically what you use for vocals. But it broke on me. I don't know what happened to it. It stopped working. So we had to just kind of make do. But I think the SM57, it costs $100, which is so cheap for a microphone.
Yeah.
But for the quality, it's worth way more than $100 in my opinion.
Yeah, if you look on a lot of you look at shows and you can recognize that shape right away. You can go, oh, that's an SM58, and wired is $99, but I think you can get a wireless for about $400. I have one sitting there in the closet, and I use it at weddings and parties and stuff, and it goes for 1,000 feet, and you're never going to break up on the wireless version. But yeah, let's go into technical stuff, man. Technical equipment that you like to use, and the types of guitars and drums and things that you use. You're becoming kind of an audio aficionado. I know last time we talked about you doing filmmaking as well as songwriting and guitar playing. How has all that been going? To explore the other avenues of Jacob Johnston.
So the filmmaking thing it never materialized. It just, for another reason or another, it just, it is what it is. It was cool. I wrote a script and everything. It was neat, but it didn't happen, but it is what it is.
It's not like you're 100 years old, man. You're still a very, very young man. Right. Things could happen. You carry a video recording.
Exactly.
You carry a video camera in your pocket all the time. So this movie could be made.
Right, and we'll just see. Right now, I think I'm more passionate about music. And music production and creating stuff like that, the audio side of things rather than the video side of things. Now, don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy videography, cinematography, but I think right now I'm more in love with the music rather than the video. But I have a couple of people, I want to say 3 or 4, that I'm working on. From home, I'm doing just kind of on the side for fun, more or less. Is I do like writing services, like music writing services, and music production, just kind of on the side. Literally don't charge anything worth anything, just enough to cover a little bit of my time.
He didn't just say that.
You know,
He will charge you, but it'll be negotiable. No, man, don't do that. I want you to explore that, man. You know, people need. Oh, I love it. You know, I only write and I play music for the love. It's not about the money. But yeah, sometimes you got to keep a roof over your heads. That apartment rent is not free.
exactly. But like literally, like I know, like right now, I'm charging $50 to, like that's including writing a whole song, like guitars, bass, drums, vocal melody, and lyrics, and then producing said whole song. So that's, you know, tracking all the drums, all the, like actually that doesn't include tracking drums, but the tracking part of the drums is just like I have really good samples that sound very realistic to get the job done. Especially for $50, you're getting a steal there. And then you know, that's tracking everything. That's mixing and mastering. So you know, like, you know, $50 for all of that. That's a steal. Most producers are charging at least 30 an hour, or like, you know, a couple $100. But yeah, I'm just doing it for the love for the most part. Because I'm honestly like, I know my way around it. I can get a decent mix, but you know, like I'm no like super pro by any means.
Not
like,
yet. The more you do it,
exactly.
you get better and better. You know, when I first started, I think my first wedding I got $50, and I rented all the equipment for $75. So yeah, I didn't make any money on that one, but it was, you know, a good experience. And once I did that wedding, it was like, it just got easier and easier and easier and better. And I get nervous before every show, like I'm sure, you know, a lot of people do. I get nervous before every show, but then after every show, I go, what was I nervous? And that went reasonably well, you know, or went perfect, or went whatever. But you know, now, okay, so now you're aspiring to have your own recording studio, and you're collecting equipment to where people can send you their demo tracks, and you can kind of mix them down and make them into something. Hey, man, that's another avenue of Jacob Johnston that people need to know about. You know, I'm here to promote you and to let you get your story out there to the world. So not only a great guitarist who or when you're writing songs, you could write the actual bar stuff. You can write and read music.
Yeah. I don't know that I could like notate it out.
Okay.
Like in a staff, like a music staff, like sheet music.
Well, there's programs for that. You know, if you play a guitar riff into a program, it automatically gives you all that sheet music, doesn't it?
I think there's some. Yeah, I don't know that I could I definitely couldn't notate it out by hand. But like if I needed to write tabs or something, which is the sheet music for guitar that has like 7 on this string, 6 on this string, like that kind of stuff. Like it just tells you what fret on the guitar to press down. I can do that, but like notation, no, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother skill that may or may not be learned by Jacob Johnston. But okay, so you've got this recording studio stuff. Are you using Adobe Audition or using FL Studio? What is it, Garage Band? I don't even know some of those other ones that have been popping up. I remember FL Studio as Fruity Loops when I was first playing with it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I use software called Studio One. It's I don't know. My thing is for the most part, like as far as like the big name ones, like Studio One, Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, like it's kind of like just pick one that you like and learn how to use it. Like they all have the same capabilities essentially. It's just which one do you feel most comfortable with? And so like my first version of Studio One that I got was free with my first interface that I bought. And so, I just learned how to use it. And I was like, why try another one when I know how to use this one just as well? So that's kind of my take on that. I think as long as you just stick with one and get familiar with it and know how to do everything with it, it is what it is. You can figure it out. It'll get the job done the same as the other ones.
That's how they get you. They give you a little free one. My first version of Virtual DJ was a free version. and then they said, hey, for only this amount of money, you could buy the full version. And it's got this many more features. Come on and get it. And then you do it. And that's what, and man, if you make $1 playing music or doing anything in the art industry, 99 cents of that goes back into buying equipment or improving your craft, for I guess for an actor or a musician, it's going and going to school, and a musician buying the best guitar, the best equipment, But speaking of guitars, what are you playing these days?
So here, I'll just go get it real fast.
Okay,
it's right over here.
And since you're wearing your wireless headphones, you can still hear me. It's not like yeah. I was talking to a guy yesterday, Tim DeMatteo, my cousin actually, and he's also a guitarist, and he was wearing his headphones. But every time he walked away to go get another instrument, he stopped being able to hear me.
All right, so we got the guitar over here.
What is that? It's pretty.
This is my go-to here. She's a Schecter C1 Plus. She's affectionately named Rhonda. Don't ask where that name came from. That's what she's called.
I'm asking, where'd that name come from? Come on, tell me about Rhonda.
I literally have no idea where the name come from. That's why.
Oh.
I just called it Rhonda one day, and ever since then, that's what I've called her.
Help me, Rhonda.
Yeah, it's got Seymour Duncan's in the bridge and the neck pickups. I don't know. I really like Seymour Duncan's. They're just they're very high quality, but they're not so hot, if you will. They don't. There's some pickups. They're called active pickups that they require a battery, and so those pickups are really hot. So they have a lot of frequency response, which means if you listen to something like Metallica. I know James Hetfield from Metallica uses EMGs, which are active pickups, and they're really hot. So if you have active pickups, you're probably not going to play anything that's softer, that's not just really driven in your face. But yeah, that's why I like them. They're hot enough to be able to be punchy with it, but not so hot that it's holy crap, what are you doing? It's got a two-way switch. I installed some strap locks on it, which keep my strap from falling off in the middle of the show. Or whatever.
It shows he's careful.
Standard. And then I use they're called heavy bottom Ernie ball strings. So basically it's like your standard set of guitar strings, but with a really fat bottom. So it's like if you took, it's called 40-60-10. That's kind of the standard, if you will, for if you're not tuning your guitar to the floor. So it's that's all it is, but the bottom one's a 52 instead. So it's just a really thick string. And that's I actually picked that up from, what's his name? Sinister Gates from Avenged Sevenfold.
Whoa.
And
you picked that up from him? Oh, you picked it up from looking at him. That's not his guitar.
Right. Well, actually, kind of is. Because he plays the same, he has his own signature model from the same company.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he was talking about how he uses that, the heavy bottoms, because it gives your bass tone, your bass response, your bass frequencies a little bit fatter, and it can make you a little make your sound a little chunkier. And I tried it out one day. I was like, I like this, and so I just kind of stuck with it.
Well, that sounds like as rhythm guitar, you could play a little bit more of the bassier notes. So really, you can play the bass, the bass as well as the rhythm in one a call. But playing devil's advocate, you said your pickups had an extra battery. Isn't that something else that can go wrong during the show, that your batteries fail?
Well, this guitar doesn't have that.
Oh,
I said the pickups I have, I like them because they don't require a battery.
Gotcha.
But they're still kind of hot. They can still bring a little bit of the heat while not requiring a battery.
Yeah, I can imagine that's another thing to fail if you do have something that has more moving parts.
The ones with the batteries, just like for our style of music, like the ones with the batteries they're just a little too much sometimes. And with this, it can do both. Like I could crank up my amp and play like some, Metallica, but at the same time, I could turn off the gain completely, play it completely clean, and it sounds like an angel coming to earth. So that's I like the dynamicism there, that I could play something really clean and beautiful. Cause believe it or not, this guitar, I'm 22 now. When I was 17, I was in jazz band in high school, and I used this guitar for jazz.
So that's been with you for a while.
Just to show you how dynamic it can be. Like I played jazz with it. It's not perfect for jazz, but it got the job done, at least at an amateur level. And now I'm playing like the song Knuckles that we released. I used that guitar on that. So, it can play pretty much anything you want it to do.
Well, in the right hands, I'm sure, man. You're a good musician. You've been practicing this for a long time, man. Right. So I didn't realize that guitar has been with you for such a long time. That's not the first guitar that you ever had? We talked about that already.
No, my first guitar I ever had was awful. It was the worst guitar ever. It was from Walmart, I think.
Oh,
or something like that. It was like $50 from Walmart. It was bad. Well, at least looking back on it now, it was terrible.
Okay.
At the time though, I just don't think, like, my mom bought it for me, and I don't think that she probably didn't think I was going to actually stick with playing guitar, and so she was just like, "Here, Jacob, take this. It's yours now. You're going to be a rock star." But yeah, the first guitar I ever bought that was like a real one.
No, but still, let me back up. Way to go, Mom, for at least getting you a guitar to put in your hands, to get the feel of the shape of it, the look of it. Mm-hmm. Maybe not necessarily the good sound of it, but hey, way to go, Mom, for helping to support you in this endeavor that is becoming your life.
I actually have two. Here, I'll go grab them real quick. I have two more that were like my first two like real guitars. So we have here. There she is. Okay. All right. I'm heading back now. We have two of them that were like my first two.
This man's got an apartment full of guitars. I love it.
Oh, we have quite a few.
How many people
are
you living alone, or you have people that live with you?
No, I live by myself.
Oh,
I live in a little bitty 400 square foot apartment.
But still, that's gotta stink being by yourself, man. Is it lonesome?
Well, I'm introverted, so it's not like it didn't bother me all that much. But yeah, this is the first guitar I ever bought with my own money.
It's pretty.
Yeah, so it's an Epiphone Les Paul something. I don't know. It's cheap. It was like $150 or something.
Well, Epiphone is the lesser brand of Gibson, right?
Right. Yeah, they make they're like the off-brand Les Pauls. Yes. Oh, hey, dog. But yeah, I bought this.
Oh, you got a dog to live with. You're not completely alone.
Yeah. She's a little lab mix.
Okay, but tell me about the guitar.
Yeah, so this guitar is it's been through the ringer. If you look right there, I don't know if you can see that. Right there, you see it? There's cracks on the bottom and stuff because I dropped it on tile floor at one point. And there's like like holes in the top from where like hit it on stuff. She's been through the ringer. But yeah, I bought it from Guitar Center. I was like, I want to get a real guitar. I want to get a guitar like Slash. That's what I was really thinking. And so I bought this guitar. It was $150 from Guitar Center. And this is what I played for a long time.
Well, I remember my first Squire was like $150, and it came with like a little amp and some strings and a couple of picks. Was that the kind of thing? Was it a kit?
No, I went in hard. I bought my own picks, my own guitar, my own amp. So it was this guitar, and I have the amp in there. It's just a Fender Mustang 2, I think, version 2, which actually the original amp that I bought with this, I blew it out like in the first week.
That's what you get for turning it up to 11.
I was. So I had to buy another one, which the amp itself was like $100. Yeah, I worked a whole summer and I had like $1,000. I was like, I'm going to buy a guitar. So I bought a guitar, and it was this one. I bought the amp, and I bought, what else did I buy? I bought something else, a tuner and some other things for like $400.
One of those electronic tuners that does it by ear, I guess.
Yeah, well, it does it by vibration.
Vibration.
You clip it onto the head.
Yeah. So it helps you to tune your guitar for somebody like me that can't do it by ear. And what you're doing, really, you're kind of educating the people that are thinking about getting into playing guitar. You're teaching them about the monetary expense that's going to come with it. It's not cheap. And you're referring to that guitar as one of the cheap guitars, and it's still $150. To most people, $150 is hard to part with for something that may or may not bring that value back. Whether it be, playing on stage or playing for your family. A lot of people think, hey, if I play for my family, that's the value I wanted. That's what I wanted, to play for my family, play for my friends. And that was worth the $150. But, for the most part, people that buy a guitar that are serious about becoming rock stars or what have you, they want that $150 back. They need it. To keep that roof over their heads. So you're giving the people gems, man. You're letting people know it was about $500 for the cheapest equipment: guitar, amps, picks, strings.
Well, I wouldn't say the cheapest, but like the cheapest, like decent quality stuff.
Like
that $60 Walmart guitar, it's not worth the $60. You know what I mean? Like 100% honest. Like, it's kind of like skateboarding, like it's like, don't buy those $15 ones from Walmart. You're going to like break your leg. But I would say like, I think the cheapest, like a Squire Stratocaster or something, that's like $100.
Yeah.
Like, I think like that's like the minimum you could spend on a guitar and it'd be okay. And this is coming from a guy that's got like 3 more in there.
I have a purple Squire that I bought a long time ago. I'm saying a long time ago, probably the late 80s, and it still works. It still plays. My cousin Timmy played that one as well on stage, and he said, "Man, this thing's great."
Right. But like this first guitar that I showed you, oh boy, this guitar was. Whoops! I just bumped her. This guitar was about $450, I think, something like that. And then this one, oh boy, this is my sentimental guitar. I call it.
He's got an acoustic guitar now. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a sentimental one, and I'm going to set it down because it's too fat. But this guitar,
aren't we all too fat?
Yeah. So between me buying my first guitar and having my Walmart guitar, I didn't have a guitar because I broke my guitar, my Walmart one, because it was just crappy. Like, it just blew out on me. My granddad bought me. He was like, I'll buy you a guitar. So he bought me a that acoustic. For like, I don't know, $300 or something.
What kind of acoustic guitar is it?
it's a Jasmine. So that's Jasmine is a branch of one of the big name. It's kind of like, you know how Squire is part of Fender?
Right.
It's kind of like that kind of relationship to one of the acoustic guitar manufacturers, like big ones. But I don't remember who exactly. But yeah, it's it's a Jasmine. And I didn't take care of it well. So she's a little beat up, but she still runs. It's kind of like your car. It's like my car's a little beat up, but she still runs. That's all that matters. And she still sounds pretty good. But I mean, my thing is like, especially when you're going in the studio, you we changed our strings because we only recorded one song in the studio when we went in. When we went in, we changed our strings the day before, and we broke them in, stretched them out, recorded the song the next day. So like within 24 hours, we had recorded the song. Like each person did. And so, I think if you change your strings, like you put fresh strings on there every once in a while, depending on how much you're playing, at least once a month probably, which is another expense. A pack of strings is like $5 for the strings I use, the heavy bottoms. They're about $5 or $6 a pack.
How often do you have to replace those?
I mean, I would think like at least from I don't want to say professional, but like a guy that plays a lot. If I'm not recording, about at least once every 3 or 4 weeks, once a month-ish.
And when you say you play a lot, what's a lot? Do you play it every day? You pick up a guitar every day?
Yeah, especially when we're writing like we are now. We're still finalizing a few tracks. So that and recording, like writing for people and stuff, I play pretty consistently, at least probably 5 to 6 hours a day, probably, because I have other responsibilities outside of music too. But 5 to 6 hours a day, almost every day. I'd say at least 5 days a week. A month is pushing it probably. If you're recording, you definitely want to have your strings changed. I don't know, I'd say maybe every 4 or 5 days, maybe.
Well, what's the reason for changing the strings? Not because they broke and you had to change them, or?
Right. No, so like there's like a lifespan of guitar strings. It's going to sound its best like the day after you put them on. Like once you break them in, they're just going to sound their richest and most flourish. Like you're really going to be able to hear the guitar, hear the sound. It's going to sound fresh and sound full. Whereas I have a guitar in there actually that I haven't like touched in a good long while, probably like 6 months. It's just one of my kind of crappier ones that has strings on it from a year ago probably. And you listen to them and there's just not a lot of tone quality. It just doesn't sound good. It sounds very dull and clanky is how I describe it. So it's like think about it like changing your oil. It's kind of the same thing. Your car is going to run best when your oil's changed, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Now, what's the advantage of having that acoustic guitar? Is that the first acoustic guitar that you've ever had, or was that Walmart guitar acoustic as well? What?
No, the Walmart guitar was electric. Okay. That's my only acoustic guitar I've ever had, believe it or not.
Wow.
I just never got around to getting another one. I don't play a lot of acoustic guitar. I mostly do electric because in punk, acoustic guitars aren't really a thing. So yeah, I mean, I've had that for a long time, and she still sounds very good. She's a little beat up. Calm down. She's a little beat up, and it has little tuning stability issues. But overall, she's it's a solid guitar. I do plan on getting another one pretty soon. But she's getting the job done. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, that's Grandpa's guitar, man. That's the one he gave you. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I definitely won't get rid of it ever.
No.
I may set it up on the wall, but I'm not going to get rid of it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the nice thing about having an acoustic guitar is that you could just pick it up and go play it anywhere. And have you done that? Have you ever done any of that busking that I hear so much about?
I have never done that, and I don't really want to.
Huh. I mean,
I don't know. It just doesn't really appeal to me.
wow. I mean, that's a quick way to get in front of people and show people what you're doing and, maybe throw a hat out there and make a buck or two and go get some lunch, but
That's true.
But I've heard people do that, and people in Little Rock, for that matter, they go around the river market area and become strolling minstrels with maybe a hat sitting out in front of them and play. But that's something you've never done.
Right. I don't know. I've never been, because for busking stuff, I typically associate it with like cover songs, and I've never been a guy that like love doing cover songs. I've always been like, I want to create something that's my own. Not to say that you can't get creative with cover songs, but it's like the song's already written for me, like I enjoy the process of watching something grow from a little sprout to a blossoming flower. I've always been that way.
How beautiful. I mean, rather than to pick somebody else's flower and to use that same metaphor and maybe play it a different way or smell it,
right.
Hand it to somebody and say, here's this flower that I picked. It grew already, but yeah, I could see that. Or you want to play your own music and man, that's a creator's creator right there. That, some people make a good living playing covers in a cover band, but you want to be that band that makes the music that people cover in the future.
Exactly.
So how many songs are out there written and produced and out for the world to listen to?
Only one right now.
And that's the Knuckles song.
Knuckles is out right now everywhere. If you listen to music somewhere, it's more than likely going to be there. And then we have another one that's in the works we're shooting early to mid-January. And it doesn't even have a name. That's how that's how in the process we are right now. We have affectionately named it Drop Hole. Don't ask why we named it that. That's just like the working title we gave it. But yeah, it's a speedy one. It's a punk song for sure. It's very fast, very aggressive. And just a little tip for the KeysDAN listener that a lot of people don't know is we're in the works with some big name pop punk guys for this next song to do a guest vocal spot on this. So be on the lookout for that.
Wicked cool. All right, so it's Riverview has its one offering. You've birthed this baby, Knuckles. Tell me how Knuckles came about, and then we'll wind this thing down.
So I was listening to a lot of Knuckle Puck and the story so far. That's kind of where the song we called it Knuckles as a working title because I was listening to a lot of Knuckle Puck, and then our singer incorporated Knuckles into the song, so that just kind of worked out. So the working title of it, like when we were just like messing around with ideas, was called Knuckles because I was listening to a lot of Knuckle Puck. And they use a lot of like extended chords and complex chords, and so do the story so far. And so we, hey, stop that. But we,
he's getting accosted by his dog.
I'm telling you,
he's getting molested.
She was like trying to get under my legs. I was like, "What are you doing?"
It's what they do.
But there's like no room to go there. But the song, I was like, I brought this riff, which is that not the lead part that is kind of more in the front. There's like a chordy part behind that lead part, and I brought it, and it was like this like big chordy like extended chords. I think it's some kind of suspended chord. I couldn't exactly tell you what it was called. Somebody told me that. I was like, sure, that's what it is. Because like as far as like knowing the names of chords and stuff, like, yeah, I know that that's a D chord and I know where my notes are, but like You tell me that's a D sus suspended 4 sharp 8th. I'm like, yep, sure that is.
Oh yeah, I think
yeah,
as a non-guitar guy who has some guitars, I don't know how to play them. I heard a long time ago, reggae is a slap 7. Oh, all right, I'll go with that.
Yeah, sure, exactly. That's how I am. Like the theory part, like just like precise theory knowledge, I'm terrible at. I don't really know a lot of it. I play mostly by ear. But yeah, I brought this big, that opening riff to Knuckles and our drummer Tyler, because it was just me and him at the time, I think. He was like, that's the one, let's do it. And so we just ran with it. And all the parts of the song except for the bridge, well, even the bridges, every part of the song is kind of based around a variation of that that opening riff, opening guitar part. And so, I mean, basically we just added bits and pieces to add some flair to different things. And it just kind of, I hate to use this cliche, but it kind of just wrote itself.
That's pretty cool. Hey, man, I can imagine magic happens from time to time when you come up with a lick. I'm sure some of these songs that you've heard your whole life where the guitarist comes in, and you go, let's write something around that, that little riff. A lot of times the guitarist is the beginning of the seeds of a song, if you will. But you're the rhythm guitarist, so you and your drummer wrote Knuckles.
Yeah, I wrote all the guitar parts for it, and we really didn't have any bass parts for it. But I wrote all the guitar parts for it.
And the lyrics?
No, I wrote just the guitars, like the lead and rhythm guitar. We basically wrote all of that, and then he wrote all the drum parts, and that's what we had for a long time. Until we found our lead singer Garrett, who he's a freaking wizard. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And he just like had this melody and these ideas. Like he just was like, "Hey, give me like an hour. I'll write a little something for one of the parts." An hour later, he comes back with one of the verse parts. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this guy's incredible."
And Garrett's the one that came from the rap background, right?
Yeah, more so than the rest of us anyway. And he slapped this verse, like he literally, like I sent him the like the guitars and the drums and just like sent it to him. It's like, hey, just show me what you can do, because like he wasn't even part of the band yet at that point. We were like trying people out, and he sent us a little crappy voice memo of him playing the guitar parts in the background and him singing the part, and which we ended up using that part. He worked it into the song. We were like, "Yep, you're the guy. Come on, buddy." And that's literally how it happened. He just slapped a melody and some lyrics on top, and we rocked and rolled with it.
Lightning in a bottle, man, and that's how it works. So now Knuckles is out there for the people to listen to. Not only I guess I found it on your Facebook page. I guess you could tell people how to get a hold of you, Jacob Johnston and the Riverview Band. Where to find all that. Find it online. Where?
We are on Facebook at Riverview AR, all one thing. That's the tag for our Facebook. We have Instagram at Riverview Band AR, I believe. And then, we're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon. But anywhere you listen to music, we're there. And we hope you come out to listen, because I think you might enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. So you got the one song, and you play some covers as well. I mean, what's on the horizon? Are the places opening up? At least I'm able to do at least one or two karaoke shows. I still got weddings that are still booking, so I'm kind of excited about that. Is anything opening up? Is anything on the horizon for people to come out and see you play live?
I think for now we're going to focus on writing and putting more music out there, because one song is not enough. Let's be fair. Like we already have people hitting us up. They're like, "Do you have any more songs? I want more songs." And we're like, "Nope, not yet." But I think January is going to be the month for another single, and then March or so for an album. And so, I think we're going to focus on that for the time being, and then maybe we'll do a live stream show, like a lot of bands are doing.
Yep.
Like kind of like an album release party kind of thing. But we'll see. Nothing's certain at this point in time with the coronavirus thing. But yeah, I mean, the song next month is definitely going to happen. And then if all goes well, March will be the time for a full album. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Hunkering down, writing, attracting people to our music to try and, get as many people to hopefully, kind of like fall in love with what we've created because we love it so much. Which we've had people reach out and say that they do love it, which is incredible, by the way. I never thought anybody would listen to anything we've ever made, But yeah, that's kind of what we're on the next 6 months for us probably is just writing and then releasing this album. And, right now it's looking like June is probably going to be the earliest we can have a show. But yeah, we're just kind of going from there.
Jacob Johnston, hey, Riverview Band, the birth, the early stages of this band. You're putting stuff out there. You got stuff on the horizon. That's beautiful. Jacob Johnston, always good to hear you. Always good to talk to you. You're an interesting fellow, man, and you love your music. And I hope that film stuff still comes out, man. You got that script written, and I'm waiting to watch. Even if it becomes a short, that would be fun, man. Just to film it, put it out there, at least make it a YouTube video or maybe even a TikTok video, depending on how short it is.
It's about, I think right now, I think it would run about 10 minutes if we put it together.
Yeah, shorts are fun, man.
It's pretty short. Yeah.
Yeah, people have short attention spans. A little bite size, just as a companion to your music. And then, of course, your fledgling audio production career is coming, man. You're collecting equipment, trying to get that, get other bands. See, that's one thing is once you learn a craft, once you start a craft, you start teaching it to other people and picking other people as you're going up the ladder of success. And that's what you're doing, man. That's a nice guy. That's a good thing to do, is to pick other people up as you're going along. And if you can make a couple bucks, do it.
Do you have a description in this podcast, don't you?
Yes.
I'll give you my audio engineer email. So if anybody out there is like, hey, I want to get something produced, they can email me and we can hopefully make something happen.
Very good. So far in the show notes, I got all your personal stuff, the Jacob Johnston Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then the River Official Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, even Crashcast at Bandcamp or .badcamp. I found that.
You definitely should go buy that. That's actually kind of an interesting thing that we never touched on. But
go ahead, hit me.
Yeah,
tell me a little about it.
There's these local guys. They do a podcast too. It's called the Crashcast.
Okay.
And they put together a guy he's kind of well known in our underground alternative music scene. His name's Kurt Lunsford. He's a rock and roll photographer guy, and Christian Hill, who's in a local band with. Called Cardinal Rule, who set up a charity called Punks for Paws, which they basically use music as an avenue to raise funds for kind of animal shelters and stuff like that. And so last year they had I guess it was a benefit show, and they raised $1,500, which is crazy.
That's fantastic, man. You expect 100 maybe, but 1,500. That's beautiful.
Yeah, they got $1,500 and they donated it to, I think it's called Arkan Paws, Paw, something like that. It's an Arkansas charity organization that they donated it to animal shelters in the state. But yeah, so since we can't really have a big show or anything, they 27 different bands donated a track, me included, my band included, and they sold this album for $5, and all of the money they made is going to go to some kind of Arkansas shelter or something. And I just heard the news a little while ago that they have broken $200 so far.
Wow.
But it's nowhere close to the $1,500, which would be crazy. But it's $5, and you can donate more if you feel like it. Like when you go to buy the album or whatever, you could put in $200 if you wanted to and donate extra. But yeah, that's a cool thing that we're a part of.
That is a cool thing. Jacob Johnston, also a philanthropist. Add that to your list of accolades.
You're killing me, Dan.
No, that's
killing
beautiful.
Me, Dan.
No, that's beautiful, man. Hey, take credit where credit is due, and I give credit where credit is due. And I'm glad you gave shout outs to all your band members and the people that have helped you along the way. You got to, help each other. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with this podcast, is helping other people. And that's what I've been doing ever since I got on the radio back in 1986. That's back in the 1900s. So yeah, man, it's a you play music, you make a couple bucks, but mostly it's promoting other people and helping each other out, and that's what we need to be doing, and that's what you're doing, man. You make your own music, but you're helping other people to realize their dreams as well with your own little recording studio going on. Jacob Johnston. All right, I think we got it. Let's do last words for the people. I like to finish these things off with last words for the people. It could be something that you heard a long time ago, words to live by. Somebody told you a long time ago, maybe a mantra, or it could just be whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Jacob Johnston, last words for the people.
So this came from a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a bazillionaire. He's got way too much money, but he didn't just inherit, like, he inherited a lot of money, but he wasn't just like born a billionaire. But he's made a lot of money, and like he started his own he started so many like large corporations. It's incredible. But he said, don't be afraid to work for free at first, just to get your foot in the door. And I think that's a mantra to live by. Like, maybe you'll take a hit right now, but think about what that experience can do for you in the future. Like, say you want to start a studio, say, hey, I'll work with 10 people for free. Well, now you have 10 people that you have work to show to the other people, and then you can charge them money. So yeah, don't be afraid to get your foot in the door by taking a hit at the very beginning. I think that's very, very, a very smart thing to say.
Well, there you have it, party people. Jacob Johnston and his new band, Riverview, a 5-piece. Oh yeah, and a biscuit. If you call the producer in the recording studio a biscuit. They got one song out and more on the works, man. You're at the beginning stages. You're on the ground floor of this brand new band, Riverview. Look them up, Riverview in Arkansas. I think it's Riverview. Well, now I got to look it up. They actually have a link tree. So you can go to Linktree and look up Riverview Band. You'll find their Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Music, and iTunes, Spotify, and Punk for Pause charity album. Yeah, that's what we talked about at the end. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, and he's an all-around good dude. I've known him for a little bit now, and every time I see him, every time I talk to him, he's a good dude. He really loves his music and also giving back to the people as well. He's very humble, though. He won't really let you know that he's out there helping people out. And he kept saying, "I'll do it for free." No, you won't. Don't you do it for free. You're taking your time, and your time is valuable. Know your worth, and then add taxes. I saw that in a meme. I thought that was pretty cool. Know your worth and add tax. So plus a little bit, because you're worth a whole lot more than you even know. Yeah, you're worth a lot. And that studio session time is valuable. Your time putting that music together is valuable. And somebody going on stage and playing for you is valuable. So, yeah, you could pay $3 or $5 or $20 for a band Yeah, for a night of entertainment, you could do it. You should do it. Their time is valuable. Yeah, a lot of bands will tell you, a lot of musicians, a lot of creatives will say, oh, I do it for the love. It's not about the money. But, it kind of is about the money. You got to keep a roof over your head and food on your plate. And for somebody like me who's got a family to take care of, I got to make some money too. So I thank you to all the people that support this podcast and support my karaoke shows and my DJ shows and invite me to their weddings to be a part of that as well. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure Jacob Johnston appreciates all the people that book him and all the people that buy his music and all his various projects. So I appreciate that. And, speaking on his behalf, should I be doing that? We don't know each other that well, but yeah, I'm sure he appreciates that too when you support him. So support Jacob Johnston and all the artists, especially local artists, the people that are helping to entertain you in your own hometown at your local coffee shop. Whether they're strapping a guitar on or if they're standing on the streets juggling. If you got an extra buck laying around in your pocket, throw it in the hat. Do it. All right. Well, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you'd like to tell your story, if you would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.